Hi, this is now February the 2nd. My birthday month. Yay! I will be 71 if I make it to my birthday. I will tell everybody I'm 72. That way, if it's been a bad year, I get to start again. Do-overs, right. But I also realized today nobody can hear me. Nobody's going to be able to help me because it would take somebody actually listening and not their preconceived ideas. Um, where I'm living is a beautiful apartment complex. Beautiful. The floor plan is ADA, not the cabinets, but the floor plan, which really helps people with wheelchairs and walkers and stuff. The reason I'm here is because I was fifth in line at St. Vincent de Paul. I think it was June. If you were the first come first serve place, and they were just opening this brand new place up, and I was fifth in line, and I did, even though I almost died. No, really, Channel 9 at that time, which is now almost, it's over 10 years ago, not more than 11, but over 10 years ago. It was 2015. This is 2026. I I spent the night. We were there for 2 or 3 days and nights, and you get really close to everybody around you. And um, a couple ahead of me were in line, holding a spot for her grandmother. So her grandmother had a home. I thought that was just wonderful. The two ahead of them was a wonderful couple. Uh, I don't know if they were a couple, but they lived together. They were really nice. They were trying to find a nicer place to live, and they worked at St. Vincent de Paul. Um, the first was she was like 8 months pregnant, but her family all came in line and took turns, brothers, sisters, I understand. Everybody took turns a day or two before we got there. And so she only had to stay the last day or two. And the couple ahead of me, their grandmother came and brought us that morning. Channel 9 came early because I think 9 is when the doors opened, or 8, and first come, first serve. I was number 5. So it was before that, and they gave me, which I just love, some Asian, I call them pillows. They're kind of brown or tan on the outside and have sweet rice on the inside. And I'm leaning over the grass. I don't want anybody to have to be where you have to clean it up. And all of a sudden I realize there's something wrong. I can't breathe. Now I'm still able to breathe, but I'm noticing I won't for much longer. I go to my trunk of my car, which I'm now living in and have been since March of 2015. And I get out the EpiPen and go stick it in my leg, and it goes sideways and not into my leg and bends like that. So I walk to the couple who were ahead of me, realizing I am just able to, I'm just squeaking. You can't hear me, but there's still air going in it. I'm realizing, shit, what am I going to do? And then I realized when I got to them, I had another EpiPen I'd just gotten and put it in the back, far into the trunk, because who's going to need it, right? I've already got the one in front. And and I at the same time I hold up my hand and I go, I with my fingers I did 911, and I showed them I couldn't breathe. Now I'm starting to not make noise. I showed him the EpiPen in my hand, grabbed him, got him to the car before I passed out, and pointed to where it was, because if I went in, I'd never come out. And now there is no air coming into my. And he came out, and I stabbed myself, or he stabbed me. I don't remember that part at all. And I I realize I'm sitting in a chair, and a fire truck pulls up. Good looking guys. Uh, gorgeous gray hair. And he calls and talks to the doctor what to do, everything. And I think I had to get another EpiPen shot, because now I was squeaking, but at least I was breathing. And I hear a noise, and I go, "Is that for me?" It was an ambulance noise. And he said, "Yes." I says, "I love my car, but I need a safe place to live. I'm not going anywhere." And the others volunteered to hold my place and fill out my apps. They were wonderful. St. Vincent de Paul staff even said they would do that. I asked Channel 9 if they would not show this, and she said okay. But they do still have the video, or they did 2 years after. So I felt like the word handed in 3. You're not moving in that day, because it's not opening up till the October. But I was fifth in line. So I contacted him 2 months later. "We lost your app," filled it out again. Contacted him again. "We lost your application again." I filled it out again. 3 months later, I go, and they said they lost it again. So I wrote a letter to Channel 9, to the reporter who recorded everything. I said, "Is this happening to anybody else?" And they found my application, and I did get an apartment. In October, November is when we moved in, or I moved in. They wouldn't let me look inside. They just, like it, I would care right now at that point. The rent I could afford, but I had Section 8, and Section 8 had approved it, so I'm okay. I'm on, I believe I was on SSD at the time. Which should have. Anyways, that's another whole story. But being, so I moved in, and I noticed there was an electrical issue. That's the reason I got a 60-day notice to move out of my apartment upstairs on J Street in Springfield. I told the landlord there's an electrical problem. I had been accepted into the electrician's union. I'd gotten an apprenticeship's job, but I didn't get to do my first day of work. A car rear-ended me, and it took me 4 years to recover. Just to wear a shirt, it took me 4 years. That's how bad I hurt. So the joke was, and I tell everybody this, most of my electronics and my art sold out my brain when I got hit by that car, rear-ended by a car. So, yes, I have the laptop on. So what I did, the joke, I remember the joke. Why I remember jokes, I don't know, but at least it's entertaining. If you think you feel electricity or you think your problems from electricity, get a non-contact voltage meter. So I got me one because if it doesn't make noise, get a psychiatrist. You really need one. If it does make noise, beep, 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 and flashes, you need an electrician. Yeah. Well, I need an electrician. Electricians do not like to come into apartments to do anything because they need permission from the landlord. I did get one to come in and look, and he says, this isn't right. This isn't right. He was using a non-contact voltage meter too. And he got a call. And he says, everything's fine, and left. You'll hear that a lot because it happened. I assumed it's because the license, his phone number was on the outside of his company car or vehicle, and that's how they got a hold of him. Because my stove is acting so weird, I don't want to use it. I went to Fred Meyer to get something to eat in the deli, hot. And it's in the winter months now. And I'm not out of the apartment, but I'm spending as little time in there as I can, so I'm at the senior center in my car. And I asked the guy at the counter, because electricians are like mechanics and beauticians. Some are just better than others. That's just fact of life. It's not good or bad. It's just a fact of life. So he says, I don't know anybody. And this guy in a three-piece suit, quite a bit taller than me, said, why do you need an electrician? Now, normally I'm not rude, but I says, don't worry about it. And he says, no, why do you need an electrician? And so I was short, kind of curt with him. And I go, I have a non-contact voltage meter, and the electricity is not in the same place all the time. He looked at me and he goes, you live in an apartment, you have ceiling heat, you're upstairs. How did he know any of that? I mean, I was, really? Wow. I says, and how do you know that? He says, well, I didn't say it out loud. He goes, you're probably wondering why I know that. I says, yeah. He says, I'm an electrical engineer. He says, the ceiling heat from the bottom floor is broken, and it's going to cost thousands of dollars to fix. It's easier to get rid of you than to fix it, because most people, only 2% of the population, knows that the problems they're having is from electricity. Well, I thank the universe, I thank God that at least somebody confirmed I wasn't crazy. So I take the non-contact voltage meter. I take video of what's happening. It used to be the fire department would come check things like this. I did not know they don't do that. So I went to the fire department. The fire department said, yes, because I happen to have the non-contact voltage meter in my pocket. He looked at the video. He actually checked it out. He says, this is working. I have one just like it at home. He says it's not if, it's when that apartment's going to burn. It could be 3 days. It could be 10, 20 years. We don't know, but it's going to burn because it is affecting it. I'm sleeping in my car now from then on. Before that, because I didn't want to be in a place with electricity. At the same time, I knew there was something else going on wrong. My battery's getting low. Seriously wrong. That people, I overheard conversations and actions, and I'll tell you about that. But so that it's both things happening at once that's causing this.